Hey guys, this is I actually don't know what this is. Integrated Math 10-7, 10-7. Integrated Math 2, 10-7. And today I'm going to be going over a couple of the problems. I'll go over question 4 and question 4 and question 7. And I was sort of purposely not doing this so I could do the video. Yes, technically I am going to give you two answers, but I'm assuming that once you can figure out how to do this problem, you can probably do these two problems. Anyways, so let's start. We are given the cotangent and the fact that cotangent of x, which is negative 12 over 5, and then we know that x is less than 180 but greater than 0. So let's write this out. Let's label 0 degrees, or 360 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and yeah, this is what we have here. So we know that our x value is between 0 and 180. What else do we know? Our cotangent is negative. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, but there's some ASTC. And this refers to which functions are positive in the corresponding quadrants. So for instance, in quadrant 1, all of the numbers are positive, or all of the functions will net you a positive number. In quadrant 2, S stands for sine, and that means the sine and the cosecant will be positive, and every other function will be negative. T stands for tangent, and the tangent and the cotangent here will be positive. And then here, this stands for cosine in the fourth quadrant, and cosine, hello, where did that go? Anyways, and C stands for cosine, so therefore the cosine and the secant will be positive. Now, if x is less than 180 but greater than 0, it has to be in either quadrant 1 or quadrant 2, whatever x is. Now, cotangent is negative. The cotangent is the same thing as it's tangent but flipped. And we can look over here to our first quadrant. All functions are positive. That doesn't work because our cotangent is negative. In quadrant 2, our sine and cosecant are positive, but every other function will be negative. This works because this is not the cosecant or the sine, so therefore it must be in quadrant 2. Now, this is helpful because we know that when we have our 6 functions, which I should actually write down, give me a moment, our other 5 functions, focus, our other 5 functions right here, these, we know that the sine and the cosecant are going to be positive numbers. Anyways, now that we have our information, we know that the cotangent is the reciprocal of the tangent. And we know by SOHCAHTOA that TOA, our tangent is opposite over the adjacent. And if the cotangent is flipped, then the cotangent must be the adjacent over the opposite. Now we can draw our triangle. This is not to scale. And let's put our angle here. Now, what do we know? We know that we have the adjacent is 12, so we can draw the adjacent as 12, and we label this A. And then we know that the opposite is 5, and this is our O. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think 12 squared plus 5 squared is 13 squared. We can do the math, because it's 144 plus 25, which is 169, and the square root of 169 is 13. And this is our hypotenuse. Now we just plug this in to our to these. So we know that the sine is SOH, S-O-H, and we see that our O is 5. Then we see that our H is 13. Therefore, our sine is 5 over 13. And then our cos is C-A over H. See, it's SOH. I'll write it out here. SOH. This is very important. We're going to be using this a lot. Anyways, back to our K. This is our CAH, and our A value is 12, and our H value is 13. A stands for adjacent, H stands for hypotenuse, O stands for opposite. Forgot to say that. Now, so then we have negative 12 over 13. Now wait, why is it negative? Because sine is the only positive function. Sorry, I can't speak. Sine and cosecant are the only positive functions. Everything else is negative. Anyways, moving on, we have our tangent. Our tangent is just a cotangent flip, so it's negative 5 over 12. Don't overthink it. And then after that, we can look at this. Cosecant x is the reciprocal of sine x, so it's just 13 over 5. And then our secant of x is just the cosine of x flipped. So it's negative 13. Negative 13 over 12. Forget about this. And that is it. Moving on to our other question, we have find the sin of x and the tan of x. Now, they will be asking you only to find specific ones. So don't be like me on the back page doing all of them like an idiot. Don't do that. Anyways. So let's draw our ASTC again. Because this time we are not going to be given our angle measures. Instead, we're only given our cosine and that our cotangent is greater than 0. Now, recall that the sine is the only positive function. The sine and the cosecant are the only positive ones here. And then the tangent and cotangent are the only positive ones here. Third quadrant. And then fourth quadrant, the cosine and secant are the only positive. I'm blanking out. The only positive functions. Okay. Now, the cosine and the cotangent, they're not related. One is not the reciprocal of the other. Now, what this is telling us, and what we need to know here, is the cosine positive or is it negative? It's positive. Is the cotangent positive or is it negative? It's positive because it's greater than 0. Therefore, the only quadrant that would work for this is the first quadrant, where all of the functions are positive. Now, we know that it is COH as so, or no, not O, SOH. Therefore, 2 is our adjacent and 3 is our hypotenuse. So let's draw our triangle once again. We'll put our angle here. We know that the hypotenuse is 3, and our adjacent is 2. We should probably label this H, A, and then we'll have our O over here. Now, let's do a bit of the Pythagorean theorem work. So 3 squared is 9 minus 2 squared, which is 4, and that's just 5. So this is square root, or root 5. Anyways, now we are asked to find sine of x and the tangent x. Sine x equals, and then tan x equals. Now, recall that sine is O over H. What is that? Root 5 over 3. There you go. Root 5 over 3. And then we're asked to find the tangent of x. Note that the tangent is the opposite over the adjacent, TOA, right here. And that is root 5 over 2. root 5 over 2. And there are your answers. Find sine of x and tan of x. There are your answers. If you have any more questions, or if I did something wrong, I hope I didn't. If I did anything wrong, or if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. But anyways, or not anyways, but oh my gosh, I can't speak. But I don't know. Just I hope this helps.